All right, we are currently live on Facebook.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to
We're
1
live
Million
on
Cups
Facebook.
Fairfax. So as you can see, everyone, we have some fun here when we get together, and these are some of our participants and some of our organizers that we had just a couple weeks ago. Next slide, please.
It's stuck. I don't know why. Wait a minute. Well, when all else fails, maybe yep, got it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so if you could, excuse me, if you have not already downloaded the 1 Million Cups app, if you could do that and check in, we do get some credit on the national level so that we are able to get some cool swag for our presenters. If you experience any problems logging in, just simply delete the app and reinstall it, and then check in, and we will really appreciate that. 1 Million Cups is a place for our entrepreneurship community and education. And our mission here is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. Our key pillars here these are presentations, not pitches. They're authentic connections, they're not networking, and they're run for the community by the community. Our culture is to have a safe and supportive environment. 1 Million Cups is co-owned by all who show up and support. So we'd like to thank everybody that has shown up for supporting this. There is a reminder that we are recording this for Zoom and Facebook Live. 1 Million Cups is volunteer-led, rotates the new organizers often, fuel your presenter pipeline together as a community. So if you would like to join our community, we would invite you to follow and share us, share on social media. We also get weekly emails, and we would love for you to join us. If you would like to apply to present for 1 Million Cups, please go to 1millioncups.com/Fairfax. And as you can see, we are all over social media, so we would love to connect with you, not just by following us, but just as a community in general, so that we can support each other online. So 1 Million Cups, we have a group of organizers I am lucky to be a part of. And as you can see, we're always inviting others to become organizers so that we can kind of share the responsibilities and the duties so that this comes off every week, seemingly flawless. In addition to, we have some brand ambassadors, and the brand ambassadors help us find presenters and get more of the community involved in 1 Million Cups. So we have our sponsors. John Yu, if you'd like to speak about Office Evolution.
Great, thanks, Tess. Hi, I'm John Yu. I am one of the organizers here at 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter, as well as I own and operate a co-working space right here in Tyson's Corner. We provide flexible office space, private office, virtual office for small business owners. We've been partnering with the 1 Million Cups for about 3 years now, and we love supporting small business owners. And so if you are in the area, I would love to connect with you. Just drop me a chat message. Thanks again for joining us this morning.
And in addition, we have our coffee sponsor for the month of September. Renetta, would you like to speak and tell us a little bit more about your business?
Yes, hi, I'm Renetta Jones. I am the founder and CEO of Extraordinary Solutions. Our motto is that we empower, inspire, and cultivate your vision. And we believe in a collaborative approach. We walk through your process as your planning process with ease, offering you full management, coordination, and planning services as we are able to travel any and everywhere. And we have a multitude of different and vendors that we work with as well.
Thank you, Renata. So how our virtual meetings works, just a little bit of housekeeping. Please keep your microphones on mute. To ask questions and participate in discussions, please use the hand wave icon. And then our moderator will let people know, who's up next. Also, if you can state your name, once the moderator states your name, please unmute your mic, say your name, who you're with, and then ask your question and make your comment, and then put your mic back on mute. We do ask that you keep your comments and your questions concise and short so that we can allow for enough time for the presenter to respond. Okay, so Wine Key Experience, we have Marcel Folk. So Marcel, we would like to welcome you to 1 Million Cups Fairfax. So your challenge question is, what can the audience help with you today? How do you know it's time to get into a commercial space and overcome commercial rent fear? So with that, Marcel, you've got the floor.
Hello, everybody. So Wine Key Experience is a DC-based catering company that also has a liquor license. So we basically we do events all around the DMV. So we've been established since 2016, and we kind of just run the business out of, it's a small commercial kitchen and or my home or storage unit. And so between staffing, we've got equipment, we provide mobile bars for events, we do dinner parties, and now we have this new traveling tavern for outside events, is that photo on the lower right-hand corner. We get kind of busy. We don't really do much marketing yet because I don't think we can handle any more events, only because we don't have the space for just to get organized. So I guess the question is, how do you know it's time to move out of your house, get your house back, and move all your stuff into like a commercial space? Maybe like an office. Because I'm thinking about getting a space where we can kind of do like a showroom where potential clients can come see our equipment, and then actually having a space for all the staff to come pick up equipment and things like that. Because right now, to be honest, they come to my house to pick up equipment. Oh, thank you. I forgot to say next slide. So we were founded in 2016. We started off as just an event staffing service where we provided only bartenders for events, and then eventually got equipment and portable bars. And then in 2019, we got our catering license and our liquor license and our commercial kitchen. During the pandemic, we did move out of the commercial kitchen, but as of this month, we now have our commercial kitchen back. But it's a small space, it's a shared space, it's not our own space. So now I'm wondering, do I take that leap? Do I sign a commercial lease and actually get an office to have, and also some storage space? And then in 2024, we may be getting our Maryland catering license with our license. And this is kind of similar information. So we were founded in November 2016. And we do event staffing, mobile bartending, and light catering. And our target audiences are caterers that don't have liquor licenses. Most caterers are really good with doing food, but they lack in like the bar service. So we work with a lot of caterers, event planners, and event venues tend to be our target audience. And our customers tend to come from referrals from event venues, caterers, event planners, and then sometimes we participate in like wedding shows, and we'll do some weddings, bar mitzvahs, and birthdays. And most of our referrals come from word of mouth, because right now we don't market at all. We just can't handle anymore. So these are a couple of our competitors, but I've met, so Sugar and Bar is one of the, I don't like calling them a competitor because we have collaborated before, but our differentiators are, we are the only company that I know of that does mobile bartending that has a liquor license. Most catering companies that have a liquor license are not a mobile bartending business, and most bartending businesses don't have a liquor license. So we are a caterer with a liquor license that also does mobile bartending. We do pay our employees better than our competition, and I vet the staff before I hire them. Many of the other companies just bring in people without actually meeting the owner. And that's kind of what makes us different. So what makes our company unique? We provide peace of mind that the event will go well. So I call it reversed catering, where we do simple catering with an amazing bar service. Most caterers do a fantastic job with the food, but most people eat one time, but they go to the bar several times throughout the night. We are different. We provide more of that. We'll do like innovation cocktails and interactive cocktails, color changing, smoky, old fashions, mimosa bars. And then we keep the catering light, so we're more of a cost-effective option for clients that want to do food and beverage. And most of our competitors are owners working other jobs. They have side hustles, or they're not fully engaged in their business. I would say that the market is missing a company that is devoted to building their brand and their offerings to their clients on a full-time basis. Next slide, please. Thanks. So the question for me today to everybody is, how do you know it's time to get into a commercial lease or a commercial space and overcoming that sticker shock and the fear of that monthly payment?
Thank you, Marcel. That was an awesome presentation. As you were talking, I was thinking about, man, I wish I had known about you like 3 months ago.
Oh.
We really had a need for that. I want to remind everybody that we're now in the Q&A section for Marcel. It's our pleasure here to help answer her challenge questions to some degree, to provide recommendations, contacts, follow-ups. Please either use the reactions button to raise your hand, or raise your hand in real life, wave it at me, or put your questions or comments into chat. I will see those, and I will line folks up in order for them to ask their questions. And I see Melinda has her hand up. So I'll ask Melinda to ask her question, and then I have some feedback for you as well, Marcel. Go ahead, Melinda.
Outstanding presentation, Marcel. I love your business. I started thinking that maybe you could take a baby step before you take the big step, and you can find either a restaurant or a big event planning company, or some of the folks that are your partners that would make sense in all of this, where they might have a spare room that you can use and the ability to be preparing food. I have a friend here here in Alexandria, where I used to be, who started his pizza business, not pizza, bagel business, at an Italian restaurant. and then he morphed into pizzas, and then he morphed into his own actual food truck, and now he has 2 restaurants. So there may be some baby steps that you consider on the way, and looking at who would be a good partner or what place might have a kitchen. And the last thought I want to throw out is John Yu has the kind of office, and I know there are a lot of the offices, depending upon where you're located, but they also have kitchens. So maybe you could be a tenant with 2 rooms, one that might be your showroom or whatever, and one that would be the office, and then have use of their facilities when you need to be making things. And they may restrict you to evenings or other things, but there may be, again, that might be a mid-step before you decide where you want to be and how much you want to pay in rent and start building, because it's a lot of equipment to buy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melinda. As you're making suggestions and comments, if folks in general, everyone on the call, if you could please put them into the chat as well. I'm gonna provide a little feedback, Marcel, little questions, and then I'll ask Dan Lender to come in after me. So as I was listening to you talk through your business question, it seemed to me like your focus was more on the bar staff, the service staff, and getting them ready rather than a heavy focus on catering. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
Okay.
our catering is very light. It's simple. And I think most of it is because of space and ability to kind of move
Okay.
around.
Gotcha. So have you investigated any of the, and in DC, there used to be 2 places that I could think of, but there are shared spaces specifically for food startups that are accelerators, and they come with a commercial kitchen, they come with an office type staff. They're shared space. You may need to arrange for time, but they also come with help so that you can get business help as well. I can do a little research back into my notes, but there's a few accelerators in the DC area. And then the other thing is there's a lot of open office space these days. There's a lot of retail frontage that's available. What you might want to do is see where you'd like to have your space set up and physically just roll around and then see if there's space for rent and see if it would work. And you could, instead of having, let's say a takeout business, you might set up the front where tables and chairs would be into your showroom, and then you would do all your prep in the back and all of your work out of the back service port that you could do there. So I'll put that into chat for you to think about later. But I really think the food service accelerators and shared space would be a really good next step for you. Low commit, and you can get your business support there as well. Okay, Dan Lender.
Thanks, Rosemary. Marcel, thank you for being on this morning, and thank you for sharing. You indicated that you're busy, or you're getting busier. I would add that are you getting the kind of clients that you want, right? You know, and when I was new, starting my business, Golden Rule Home Watch and Concierge, we basically wanted revenue. We took any and all customers, and we will still help anybody, but it's a constant refining process. I mean, are you getting the clients that you want? I mean, this is kind of rhetorical almost. Is that the more profitable clients versus the client that the first thing out of their mouths is how much does this cost, right? So it's and those aren't necessarily the best clients. So anyway, it's as much feedback as a question. But thanks again for being on this morning and sharing.
Thank you so much. I would say it's a mix. I definitely used to have a lot of lowballing clients where they just kept me busy, and I think that's why I had a full-time job while I was doing the business, is because I just couldn't afford to do the business full-time. So that's thank you for that, for reminding me of that.
Thank you, Dan. John Rutenberg, then John Norris. Melinda, do you still have another question? You're muted. You never put your hand down, so I don't know if you had another question.
Actually, I do when it's
Okay,
appropriate.
so I'm gonna ask you to go after John Norris.
Okay.
So John Rutenberg, then John Norris, then Melinda.
Hey, Marcel, thank you so much for presenting and becoming part of our community. So I don't know statistics for the catering industry, but I'm going to arbitrarily for a moment say you can afford 5% of your revenue for rent. And again, it could be 7 or 4. You can probably find some of those statistics. Now, on day one, it might be 30%. So I would urge you to say, okay, what is my most conservative projection of revenue that would be produced because I have this commercial kitchen? And can I get my numbers down to rent expense 5% or X%, whatever is relevant to the industry of revenue? And again, it may be the first 6 months you're at 20% of revenue because not everyone has bought yet. But using a conservative projection, what will make it possible to make your rent 5 or 6% of top line? And when you have that projection, you'll know, and have someone else go over it with you so that your optimism is made more conservative even than you might be. And see where you fill out. And then you'll know whether you're ready to handle the sticker shock.
Thank you for that.
You bet.
Awesome, Mr. Rutenberg, John Norris, then Melinda, then Justin.
Yeah, great job. I just wanted to ironically echo some of the things John said, and that is that to me, while like I might want office space or want a storefront or these things, the true thing is it's about cash flow. And again, I'm not trying to ask about your business's finances, but like John's saying, if you're healthy cash flow each month over month and you're not experiencing, say, a seasonal, just a seasonal burst in business that, you know, in January may go away and you may not have the cash flow to pay it or something, like taking on debt or payments as a small startup or even if you're still a newer company is obviously a big commitment. And frankly, it's the cost benefit. You know, does getting that space elevate your revenue? Does it improve your ability to serve clients? Does it grow your client access to, you know, create more revenue? You know, it's a pretty complex decision. I mean, we're a small company. We've been virtual since we started. We have office space, but it's flex space for that reason. We don't want to take on a big payment. So, you know, I think you just got to spend time thinking about your finances of this decision.
Thank you. That's a great point. We definitely die in January.
Thank you, John. Melinda, then Justin, if you still have a question.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you earlier is why did you start this business? You're obviously passionate about cooking and entertaining and all the other pieces to it. Why did you start the business and how can you build that into your story as you are continuing to do this, even to present yourself to offices? And I was thinking about other partnerships that you might be able to create again. And the workspaces like John used, you may be able to work something out with them where you have use of the kitchen and maybe you get 2 offices at a really good price because whenever you're doing an event, you cook a little bit extra and you put it out for the employees in the office so that they can taste things. And as they start to grow too, they might have a party or something where you can cater it as they launch their businesses. Maybe even an incubator type place that has a whole bunch of incubator clients would be the best fit for you because you yourself are an incubator, and this will also give you an opportunity to test things, to test food and a lot of other things and research and getting people's opinions. Just again, throwing out the same idea, but with more spins on it. That I think your best step in between finding your final landing place, and it may not be, it may be an association with another organization that becomes your big bread and butter client because they do lots of meetings.
Great, thanks, Melinda. Justin.
Yeah, thanks for sharing today, Marcel. It was a great presentation and enjoyed learning about your business. I guess my question would just kind of tie together the Johns and a little bit of what Melinda said. What are your plans for growth? Like, what are the benefits from this commercial space to tie everything together? Is it going to be more collaboration from your staff? Just really lay out like how that's going to help your whatever your vision is for the company and refine that vision a little bit. You mentioned you don't really do a lot of marketing. Do you want more business? Do you want to scale up? Because that would be a reason in my mind to get commercial space. I frankly wish I didn't have my commercial space right now, just with the way things have gone over the last few years, to be very honest. So I would go into it cautiously and approach it from a revenue standpoint. But those would be my questions for you.
Thank you. I definitely want to grow the business and get to a point where I can market it. But I'll shoot you when you said you almost regret having your commercial space. I'm like, oh shoot, I have a lot to think about.
That's not to deter you. I'm just saying, like, from an honest
Yeah,
standpoint,
yeah.
I've had commercial space for a long time, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a ball and chain around your cash flow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Just a reminder, if you can, jot your comments into chat so that Marcel also has that. Lower your hands after you've asked your questions. I see that Carolyn has raised her hand to ask a question, and Ronetta, would you please go after Carolyn?
Good morning, Marcel. Thank you very much for your presentation. I love the concept that you have. One thing that I wanted to just point out, you said you'll do the marketing once you get the business at, perhaps marketing will grow the business a little. So if you do a little on each side of your acquisition, whether you're in the commercial space or not, you may get a bit of a boost from the marketing to grow the business, to build the revenue, to get you into the space, and then continue the marketing. So excuse me, just something to consider as you continue your process of trying to figure things out. Thanks for a great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carolyn. Ronetta, and then John Foster, and then Reggie.
Good morning, Marcel. Great presentation. Your challenge question is states about the overcoming the sticker shock of monthly rent. Is there any other objection in to having a commercial space that you fear right now, or is there something else that might be in the way of you taking the leap?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else. I've got to think about that.
I left a comment in the chat for you also. There's a group called Inspire, DMV Hospitality Group. And they are an amazing group of mentors that are chefs, bartenders, different hospitality aspects of hospitality that would be awesome for you to connect with. Because a lot of them are either in the same boat or have taken the leap. So they would be a great group for you to connect with.
Definitely check them out.
Thank you, Ronetta. Reminder, after you ask your questions, you can put your hand down. I think we had John Foster, then Reggie, and then I want to go to a couple of comments that I saw in chat.
Great. Great. Thank you, Marcel. I love learning more about your business. I was curious, as far as location goes, you mentioned you were going to be picking up a Maryland license in 2023. And so where is the majority of your business coming from? Is it spread out? And because that's going to also, I think, be a factor in this, your question about commercial space. So just curious about that.
Thank you. In Maryland, it's mostly Annapolis, Crofton, sometimes Baltimore, but right now it's mostly DC. Most of our events are in DC.
Wow, that's quite a coverage area, Marcel.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey. Hey, Reggie, you're up. And then John, you had put a comment into chat. So why don't you talk to that after Mr. Reggie?
Sure. Thank you, Marcel, for the presentation. Great job. One thing that I was thinking about is, if the space will allow you flexibility in terms of ways to make money from it. So, I know that one idea was that you could have a setup where you bring people in and sort of train them to do what you do, or other like it's basically a training kitchen setup type of thing, where people who want to improve their bartending or catering skills can come in, and you offer classes that will help subsidize the payments. Maybe you do like special demos or tastings, like exclusive type of things that people can't necessarily get everywhere. That you use the space to just help bring in some extra revenue. And then you mentioned how it's very collaborative in the industry, and people aren't necessarily just competitors. There is overlap. So maybe it's a place where other people can send their staff to be trained, to learn new techniques and skills. So I just think thinking about ways that you can capitalize on the space, besides just having it be a storage space. But thinking about training workshops, even bringing in like people that are creators and content producers, like maybe they come and shoot videos there, something like that. So just think about other ways to monetize the space.
Thank you. Great idea.
Great idea, Reggie. Thank you so much. John, I know you put something into the comments if you want to talk to that, and then Melinda had something else for you.
Sure. Hey, Marcel, thanks. Fantastic presentation. I think there's a lot of good feedback from the group. I think when I posted my comment, I think what I was sort of looking at was what the needs are, because a lot of people talked about different types of space, right? From share space to incubator to having your own commercial space. So I think just understanding what are the needs for the space that you're looking for. And so one of the other option could be, if you think that you need your own space, could be a subletting opportunity. There's a lot of, I think maybe Rosemary mentioned there's a lot of vacant spaces currently, especially in the retail side of things. And so kind of exploring that option could be another way to sort of cut the cost down, or from a commitment, signing a long-term commitment with the landlord.
Thank you.
Awesome, John. Thank you for weighing in. So Melinda, you had some more comments, then Tom Shipe, and then Tess, you had put something into the comments. So if you want to talk to that after Tom.
I had another brilliant idea. A commercial realtor, and I'm going to be more specific. I have a friend who grew up in the restaurant business. Her family owned an Italian restaurant in DC all of her early years of her life. And then she actually married one of the chefs from that restaurant eventually. And she and her husband have a restaurant in Alexandria, Fairfax side. Anyway, very quickly, their daughter is now partners in the business. Her specialty is, she doesn't do the restaurants at all. She's a commercial broker. She would know restaurants in DC, Virginia, Maryland. She would know people, and you might be able to work with her to see if any of those places have some space available. There may be also a way you can do it with a pop-up, which I just thought of, because a lot of, like Alexandria is doing pop-ups, and you may want to try a pop-up experience to see if this is the way you want to go. You want to have a storefront or whatever. And the other thought with that is, I can put you in touch with a number of people I know, and I bet everybody else can too, who started in a garage and now have a real live space, and talk to them and find out when did they decide to make that move? And I can also send you to some friends who've done that in restaurants who are no longer in business and pulled back. So, I mean, there's a way that you may be able to get a lot of information. And if you do, I have another thought on that. Write a book. When is it the right time to go from your garage or your kitchen to a storefront? And I bet that would be a really big, hot selling book, which will also help your catering business.
Thank you. Thanks, Melinda. Tom Shape and then Tess.
Morning, Marcel. This was a great presentation and a very interesting business. Comment here today is for the entire group, because this has been probably the most direct, solid advice I've heard the group as a whole provide anybody since I've been on this call. We do a lot of foo-foo stuff like, what's your 5-year plan? Well, you don't need a 5-year plan right now. You might need a 3-year plan. Rosemary had a great idea about, testing the waters that way. But my personal opinion is you'll grow faster if you take the lead. Be sure you can afford to do it. And the reason you're going to grow faster is because there's going to be an alligator behind it.
Great point.
Thank you, Tom. That's awesome. Tess.
Thank you, Marcel, for your presentation. My suggestion is to look in your immediate neighborhood, like you say that you keep a lot of things at your home and they're coming in and out of your home. Look in your immediate neighborhood to see where some of the other small businesses that are in the food or event planning industry, some of them have a commercial space or have had one for a little while, and some of them are struggling and they are looking to partner or collaborate with other people. I know that in my area of Herndon, we've got the tea shop here, and she's opening it up to actually a little kind of a workspace type of thing. So that's where I would go. I would find people, and who knows, you might have a collaboration where they could provide even more of the food and you can focus more on the bartending. Because I do agree with you, more people when they do go to events, they are going to the bar more often than not going to, they'll get their like little nauseous. So I do like that idea and that concept of it, that where you're concentrating is, for the cocktails and the drinks and that kind of thing, and having those signature things. So that's what I would do, is I would try to find somebody either in event planning or in the food industry, a small business owner, because they're struggling and, they're trying to find other ways of sharing space.
Thank you. Thank you, Tess. Marcel, I want to kind of bring us back to your challenge question. How do you know it's time to get into a commercial office? I think that John Rutenberg gave you some real interesting guidance about looking at a number, say 5%. I think a couple other folks talked about cash flow, John Norse for sure, all great ideas. I would think about it in a slightly different manner. So at some point, the pain of not having a commercial space to work out of is going to eat into your ability to grow your revenues. So I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule. You do have to take into account your cash flow for sure. You need to know that you can pay for whatever space you're going to be using. And you need to know that you can pay for it on a sustained basis. So these are interesting times that we live in, because people are being flexible in trying to cover committed costs they have. So forgive me, I think it was either Reggie or Dan or Tess who recommended finding other folks that you could pair up with. I'm thinking if you work with some of your non-competitor competitors, reach out to them and say, look, we're looking to dip our toes in the water for some commercial space. Do you have space we can share? Or go back to some of the previous caterers that you worked alongside of when you were just doing the bar work, and see if they need help filling their space, or if they know somebody that would like to help you in a kind of pop-up sense and dip your toes in, because you won't know that the time is right until you walk through that door and go, oh my gosh, I just feel so much better about this. I know I can pay for it. I could take on more business. It's easier for my folks. So, so really take a look at it from both sides, not just do I have the cash flow? Is it a money decision? But there's an opportunity cost. If I don't do it, what am I giving up? If I don't have this capability, am I leaving revenue behind? So those kinds of things. Dan Lender.
Rosemary, you were talking, and what I was thinking about, it's a very crowded space, I think, Marcel, in catering. And there are different types of caters that different people want. I mean, I keep going back to the getting the clients that you want, but working with other caterers, I mean, to maybe have shared space, but then also you can work with caterers who are not your immediate competitors who maybe serve different populations. And so, you know, I'm thinking everything from a referral basis that you could get a cut of their business from referring. They could work with you. I mean, there's lots of ways this could go, but it's like different caterers serve different needs. Because I've been to many functions in there's a lot of different there's a lot of different needs and budgets, as you know, out there, right? So this is there's lots of ways to take this. So hopefully this makes sense.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. We have time for a couple more questions. So if you have something, I think Melinda put something in chat. So Melinda, right after I just follow up with something Dan fired off a neuron in my head, Marcel. The other thing to do is go back to some of the venues, like venues that don't have, locked catering or locked bar staff, and see if on a regular basis they have space for you to, again, in a pop-up sense, like how about if I do it every Tuesday or every Thursday, or if I can get started 3 hours early before your rush or something like that. They may be interested because it's revenue they're leaving on the table too. So you might want to try that. Okay, Melinda, do you have something that you want to add in?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea that I all of a sudden popped up in my head. Companies are starting to plan right now for their holiday get-togethers. They're not what they used to be. They may pick venues that are safe, like gardens that have party space. There are a lot of these places throughout the DMV. And there may be a way to target a lot of these organizations, these spaces, to help them with, if the company's coming in to have something, then being able, like River Farm, for example, in Northern Virginia, they're all over, and they would be perfect. The other thing I thought of too, and you may want to look at, is if a company is going to do a virtual holiday party, do you have a way that you could deliver to people in the area a bottle of champagne and whatever? That there just may be some ways that you can take advantage of this, and or set up a pop-up store for October, November, and December to book your events, and let the companies come back to you or whatever, but with the idea of holiday parties and making that the theme, because not only do restaurants and other places have places for this, you could also probably pick a couple of venues that you might work with, and maybe they've got space and you've got a good deal negotiated. You might get a commission on bringing them to the venue where you are providing the food and the beverage. There are all sorts of things, and if you want to just pick my brain later, you can do that. But there are lots and lots of places. Holland Hall, I can just go down the list of the ones in the DMV in Maryland, DC, and Virginia that would be ideal places, as well as spaces that, people are having holiday parties now in their homes for Christmas, for New Year's, and other kinds of things. So yeah, that's enough. Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Great ideas. Thank you
Linda.
so much.
Appreciate it. Marcel, can you make sure we have your contact information in the chat
Sure.
so that we can reach out? Does anyone have any other questions before I turn it over to Donnell for our last question for Marcel? Going once? All right, Donnell, back to you.
Marcel, first of all, thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups a second time. Or is this your third time? I think it's your third time,
Yeah.
you know, being a presenter here. So that tells us that you appreciate the feedback and everything that you got from here. And I want to also commend you for being vulnerable and, you know, asking for true to life help on what you're needing. What else can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
I don't know. It's just honestly, every single time I come to present, yeah, there's just so much great information that I'm given, and it's like, and it doesn't get old. It's always something different, something new comes up, and there's just so many great ideas that it's like, oh wow, it's just fantastic that people that aren't in my business can just help me with it without, you know, with just great ideas. I just can't explain. I'm just speechless as to all the great feedback I get and new ways of thinking about how to approach my business. I'm just really grateful for everybody that shared. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you for coming back. It was a
Thanks,
pleasure having you.
Back to you, Tess.
Okay, so next week we are most likely, from what I understand, we may not have rehab to perform next week. They may be rescheduling. So we may be actually doing a networking session for next week's 1 Million Cups. Next slide, please. So as you can see, our presenter schedule is open. We are always looking for people to join us and present. So if you know of anyone, or if you would like to present again or for your first time, please feel free to again apply at 1millioncups.com/Fairfax. So if you're interested in becoming an organizer and joining myself and the my magnificent team that we have, we have a lot of fun on Monday mornings. Basically, we engage, it's about 30 minutes, and we kind of get things organized for our Wednesday presentations. We have, you know, marketing, we have facilitator skills, we have everything ready to roll so that these come off kind of flawlessly on Wednesdays. It's a small time commitment. We meet the great presenters. We each work with them to try to make sure that they've got their slides ready to roll. So it's a great time, even for us, if we have a little bit of time at the end, for us to kind of network if we need to as well. So we do invite you to become an organizer. We have some upcoming events in the Fairfax area. Is somebody here from the Chamber of Commerce today? I'm going to take that silence as a no.
She's not here.
She's not here. Okay, thank you, Melinda. So I know that Donnell is here. So Donnell, please talk about your pop-ups that you have in Prince William County.
Yes.
Okay.
So I invite, you know, the entire team to make some time in your schedule on either Saturday or Sunday to come out to our veteran business pop-up shop. It is every weekend from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or excuse me, to 6 o'clock on Saturday, and 11 to 5 o'clock on Sunday. We host, this weekend, we're hosting 15 veteran and military spouse-owned businesses. The place will be packed. We're going to probably get a surprise visit from someone that sits in a high office this weekend. I haven't confirmed it, but someone that sits in a high office in Virginia. And then we also have our Veterans Connect on September 22nd. That is also sponsored by Wine Key. They are our beverage sponsor. And it's amazing to have them and her present today. So if you guys want to come out and mingle with our veteran and military spouse and supporters, please come out on the 22nd from 5 to 9 o'clock. We're going to have beverages, we're going to have food, and an amazing time. And it's to provide business, education, and employment resources for our veteran community.
Thank you, Donnell.
Hey, Tess, I want to talk about really quickly the business after business that Central Fairfax is having on Thursday at Dulce Vita. It's a live event and it's a lot of fun. So if you're in the Fairfax City area or Tyson's and in the central area of Northern Virginia, it's really a wonderful event to go out to. They do it every month and you'll meet a lot of really good people there. And I know Jennifer Rose, if she was here, would have wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. And we'd like to thank everybody here that has come to support us as a community. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, and we acknowledge the barriers that you might face in starting and growing a business. We'd like to thank Marcel for her presentation. Our 1 Million Cups community is fueled by passionate entrepreneurs who are looking to support and learn from people like us. So on behalf of our organizing team, we invite you to join us every Wednesday morning and let us know if you'd like to get more involved. We are a part of the Kaufman Foundation, which works with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, to take risks, and to own their success. We take risks, own success, be uncommon. And with that, we have wrapped up. And Marcel, we hope to stay connected with you and see how you're going. And feel free to message us as well. We invite you to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great job, Marcel.
Yeah. Hope the ideas were good for you.
Oh, they were fantastic. Every idea was just amazing.